My name is Jeff Oak, and I'm delighted to be with my friend and colleague, Mark Taylor, to share with you our new small business group in Manhattan. Mark, wonderful to be with you.
Great to be with you, Jeff.
I'd like to introduce you, Mark. I need to tell all of our listeners what your members say about you because it captures something unique. One CEO who's been with Mark for 11 years says there's been no single person more impactful on my personal and professional life. Here are some of the things that make Mark different. Members say he uses the memory of a conversation, whether it's a statement, express concern, to guide you over time. He's paying attention at a level that most people don't. He connects dots, not only across months, but sometimes across years. Mark's credentials are exceptional. He has coached over 100 CEOs from 3 million to 500 million in revenue over 16 years. He's helped 17 companies successfully exit with founders becoming multimillionaires. He's a Vistage Master Chair. He's ranked in the top 25 in the US for 11 consecutive years. And he's the only chair in Vistage's history to receive all 3 legacy awards. Before coaching, Mark built and sold a company that became the 58th fastest growing company in Michigan, and he's facilitated the Stanford's executive education program. I'm really honored to call Mark my partner.
Thank you, Jeff. Let me say what a few of your members have said about you. Jeff's members call him the Velvet Hammer. He coaches with compassion, but pushes you to act. One of his CEO members said, when you talk with Jeff, you can hear yourself thinking. And another said he cuts through all the noise and gets to the heart of what really matters. Jeff has led through real complexity. He was the CEO of a medical facility, managing 200-person teams. He led a company be recognized as one of the world's most ethical, and he chairs 3 Vistage groups on Long Island, including the only small business group there. But what sets Jeff apart is this. He creates psychological safety where CEOs can be vulnerable about real issues. And then he asks the hard questions you're avoiding. His members say he was born to coach, and talking with Jeff always leaves me smiling. One simply called him a mensch. That's the partnership. I'll challenge you, and Jeff will help you think clearly.
Mark, let's explain why we co-chair together. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, practically, I think it means when one of us is facilitating, the other is observing. So we're catching patterns, we're noticing what's not being said, we're making connections between the issues, and we can hold each other accountable the same way that the group is, we hold the group accountable.
Yeah. What I like about that is that as members grow, we want to help them see the options that they have. Members at the $3 to $12 million range can start here, and as their company scales, they can transition into your groups with larger companies, or they can stay here if this is where they want to be.
Yeah, so it's a lot of flexibility to really serve our members, and the bottom line is that they're not going to get lost with just one perspective and one approach. They have 2 chairs, so they're going to get challenged and they're going to get supported. What are you excited about, Jeff?
I'm excited about the fact that there is a real gap for the $3 to $12 million CEO in New York City. They're too big for small business networking groups, and they're too small for groups that are focused on $50 million plus companies. And they're kind of in a bit of a no person's land, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, that's what I saw. And at that $3 to $12 million is exactly where the most dramatic transformation happens, because at that stage, you've proven that your business works, but now you're hitting a complexity that you've never managed. The habits that got you there aren't going to be what's going to get you to where you want to go. So the habits that got you to 5 million aren't going to get you to 20 million. It's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, and I've really seen that in the leaders that I work with as well, Mark, that what got you to one level is actually not going to get you to the next. It's going to be an obstacle. And people can't figure that out alone. They need other CEOs who are navigating the same stage in the same market, dealing with the same kind of realities that are unique to New York City. 200,000K doesn't get you a VP in New York. The talent wars and the cost structure are just too different.
They are. But what excites me is that this isn't a course that we're imposing or a curriculum. It's where our members bring the agenda. So if they're dealing with a toxic partner, that's what we work on. If they have pricing pressure crushing their margins, that's the issue. Deciding whether to sell or scale, that's the conversation.
And that's what I treasure about being a Vistage Chair, is that by design, the group tackles whatever is actually stopping the person from hitting their goals at that time, whether it's a business strategy, a key hire, a personnel issue that affects your leadership, succession plan, whatever it is that people bring to the room is what the group tackles.
Yeah, I mean, our mission is to increase your effectiveness as a CEO and to enhance your life. So whatever is impacting you, whatever is affecting your leadership, we're going to help you with that. And the data shows that our members get results fast. Our members grow 2.2 times faster than their competitors, not because of magic, but because with the support of a peer group, they're making better decisions faster and they're making less costly mistakes.
Yes, a real example, Mark. You had a member who had just helped a small business get over $1 million from a government program that they had no idea they qualified for. It took one conversation in the group, one introduction, one connection that resulted in a 7-figure improvement.
Yeah, and you just did an exercise with your members, and what was it that you learned was some of them that had the biggest impact in their being a member?
Someone was really wrestling with whether to purchase another location, and he had been reticent about that for a variety of personnel reasons and leadership challenges and a variety of other things. And the group helped him address the latter question first. And then once he had a plan for that, it became clear that starting that next location was a no-brainer. That was a $1.5 million differential for him.
Yes. I mean, this happens like almost every meeting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I watched the CEO about to buy a business, and the group asked questions that he hadn't thought of. And if he would have bought that business, we discovered as a group there was a fatal flaw around how he was going to get the money. He would have lost over $1 million. So the group saved him from the mistake before he signed.
That's a great story. I love that. What are the unique opportunities from your perspective, Mark, for this group?
Well, this group in particular is going to be a founding group. We're launching on December the 4th. And the benefit of being a founding member is that the first 8 to 10 CEOs who join shape the group. They get to decide what are the speakers we're going to bring in. They help set the culture. They define what topics matter. If you join 6 months from now, you don't quite get that same advantage.
I agree. One thing that I think is unique about this, a second thing, is that it's specific to the stage that a CEO or owner is at. As we mentioned, as we touched on a few minutes earlier, at the $3 to $12 million range, you're wrestling with very specific questions. Should I hire a COO? How do I price for profit, or not just market share? Do I bootstrap growth, or do I raise capital? Somebody at 50 million isn't facing those anymore. Someone at 1 million isn't quite ready yet. So it's stage specific is one of the unique elements.
And third, it's in New York City. And New York City is different, as you mentioned before. And we understand the market reality. I live here in New York City. You live in Long Island. Nobody has to explain why payroll is brutal in the city. Nobody has to understand how hard it is to get to work if you're still working from the office, or why hiring is like a knife fight, and why real estate costs force different decisions.
And another thing that's unique about this group is its size. The number of 14 people is by design. It's big enough for diverse perspectives, technology, manufacturing, retail services, and it's small enough that you can't hide. You're accountable. Each member is accountable every single meeting.
Yes, and here's something that most people don't know about Vistage, is that you get access to 45,000 members globally. So my members are using this all the time. If you need an expert in supply chain, a fractional CFO, somebody today needed a fractional bookkeeper, if you're expanding into another country, Jeff and I can tap into that network. So you're not just getting, 13 or 14 peers, you're getting connections and the entire Vistage ecosystem.
And there's one other thing, and this is really important for trust, is that we don't put competitors in the same group. Everybody signs a confidentiality agreement. We've actually removed people in the past for violating confidentiality. This is a psychologically safe environment where you can be vulnerable about real issues.
And I think that's one of the biggest advantages is, having run a business myself, where could you go where you can talk about your issues in a safe environment and be perfectly frank about what you're worried about or what you're sleeping about? You can't talk to your employees about it. I talked to my therapist, but didn't really understand business issues about it. I could talk to my wife, but then I'm going to bring her down and get her worried, and she's going to lose sleep along with me. I mean, that's what I love about being a part of Vistage for over 30 years now, is that it is a psychologically safe environment where people can bring up whatever's going on and get support from others that know what it's like to be in their shoes, and share their experiences and learn from them and get resources that they know have worked for them.
Absolutely.
What do you think is a good candidate for our small business group, Jeff?
Sure. Let's be very specific. On the revenue side, 3 to 12 million. Typically 10 to 50 employees in terms of the size of the team. The geography, we're really looking at Manhattan or Brooklyn. And the stage in your business. You've proven that your model works, and now you're building the infrastructure.
But what really matters is that you're passionate about learning. You got to be willing to show up and engage, and you got to be willing to be vulnerable.
Good questions are always asking questions like this. We hear this all the time. What got me here won't get me there. What needs to change? Should I sell? Should I scale? Should I bring in a partner? How do I hire people who are smarter than me without losing control?
And this works for CEOs who are scaling and growing, and CEOs who are struggling. I've been there. I've run my own business. I know what it's like when you're stuck. I know what it's like to charge a payroll on my credit card. I know what it's like to take the money out of my college kids' fund to hire the next vice president. I know what it's like when you have a major incident that shuts down everything, like 9/11. That's exactly why you need this. We're in a time of uncertainty, and you need somebody that's got your back.
Another really key, I love that comment, Mark, about the struggles that CEOs face. We're also looking for people who will thrive in a group like this, CEOs who are coachable, who can give as much as they take, who want to be challenged. Who are the people who don't fit? People who already have all the answers, or if their ego's too big to learn from peers, and this probably isn't for you.
So let's talk about how it actually works. The small business group meets for a half a day a month. It'll be the first Thursday of every month, and we're going to start at lunch, and we're going to end by 5 p.m. So that's about 4 hours. And then 3 or 4 times a year, we're going to bring in an expert speaker, and we'll do a full day session on topics that we'll determine in our first meeting, the topics that the founding members are interested.
And here's what happens in those sessions. You bring your real issues. It could be a decision you're wrestling with, could be your financials. We'll look at them, give you unbiased perspective. Could be a key hire, a strategic plan, could be a crisis that you're managing.
And on top of that, you're going to get an hour and a half coaching session once per month. And in between, you're not waiting until the monthly meeting or your coaching session if something urgent comes up. We have a 24/7 platform, a software platform where you can post any challenge, decision, opportunity, or decision. Jeff and I are both notified, and one of us are going to respond within 24 hours. So you really have two people that have got your back.
You'll also get one-to-one coaching with me on a monthly basis. So it's not just the group that you're getting the perspectives on for your issues. You get individual attention on whatever you're working through.
So you're probably wondering, how much does this cost? I mean, if you were going to hire somebody for your organization in New York, you'd easily spend 150 grand a year to give you one perspective. And this is a lot less than that. And you get 2 chair perspectives and 10 to 15 other perspectives from other CEOs in the room. And the ROI shows that our members grow 2.2 times faster than their industry peers.
And it's month to month, which is key. We're confident in the value, so we're not locking you into any annual contract. Although I'll tell you, Mark's average member in his other groups stays for 10 years.
And I've got some members that have been there for 25 years.
Yeah. So Mark, when does this work and when doesn't it work?
Well, if we're really honest about when peer advisory works versus when it doesn't, I'd say it doesn't work if you're just not engaging, if you're not showing up, if you're not bringing issues. I mean, it clearly doesn't work then.
Yeah. Here are some of the times where I've seen that it does work. Peer advice is powerful when you're facing decisions where experience matters more than expertise. Things like, should I fire my co-founder? Should I take on debt to expand? How do I deal with a key employee who's become toxic?
And these aren't consultant questions. I need someone who's been through this questions. The group has a collective experience that you can't hire.
But there's one other things that are call for a different sort of resource. If you need legal advice, for example, we're going to connect you with a lawyer. If you need technical expertise in cybersecurity, we'll tap into our networks. We're not pretending that 13 CEOs can solve everything.
And something else that's important is we've had members where the group helped them realize that they should not scale, that they should stay small and profitable and optimized for lifestyle. I had a member that was really looking to sell his business. He thought he could get $5 million for it, and he was constantly looking at the next shiny object. And through the conversation that I had with him, we realized that he had a core part of his business that was producing $1 million worth of EBITDA every single year. That was 8 years ago. He's already made more than that 5 million, and he's cut back searching for that shiny object. So he's only now working 3 days a week. He shouldn't sell. He shouldn't wait. This isn't about cheerleading. It's about helping you make the right decision for you and your family.
I love that example, Mark. The group works when you're willing to be challenged. If it doesn't work, the group doesn't work if you just want validation.
Yeah, people bring an issue, and sometimes you'll see one CEO arguing this side of the issue and another CEO arguing the other side of the issue. So you see your issue, and you're like in a ping pong game watching it go back and forth. But you get to decide, and you get to hear your issue being argued like in front of you, but you make the right decision for you.
What about next steps, Mark?
Well, we're launching on December the 4th. We're going to start with 8 to 10 members. I think we can go to 18 members at the most that we can have in the group. So if this resonates, you can reach out to either one of us. I'm Mark at marktaylor.nyc, and you are
Jeff Oak at vistagechair.com, or you can message us on LinkedIn.
and we'll just set up a 30-minute discovery conversation. It's a two-way evaluation. We need to make sure that you're a fit, and you need to make sure this is right for you.
This group is not for everyone, but if you're at that inflection point where what got you here won't get you there, and if you're tired of making decisions alone, let's talk. Delighted to have you join us and listen in. And on behalf of myself, Jeff Oak, and my partner, Mark Taylor, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.